Hey there, good morning. I'm John. Today is Friday, November 17th, 2023. We've made it to another Friday. This is my daily vlog, my stand-up and report to you and me on what I have been doing to make content creation sustainable. So let's start with yesterday, which is pretty much half of today. So yesterday, my primary goal was to do as much writing and shooting as I could for the long form video that I would like to put out end of today, or probably more likely tomorrow, Saturday, another Saturday release. So I'm happy to tell you that I succeeded in that very thing. I did all the writing, I shot the stand-up, I did a bunch of B-roll, I did some scientific testing. This is all general troubleshooting for GameStation Pro, kind of a video frequently asked questions kind of thing to help owners of the GSP, as it's been several weeks since its release and many people have it, and I keep seeing the same questions over and over. That's where reading the comments is very beneficial, because you get kind of your finger on the pulse of what are people wondering, what's the vast majority of people, what are their assumptions or their thoughts, kind of thing. So I would say that is I've actually started editing it. And in addition to getting all that done, I'm still going to need some B-roll and stuff probably as I go through it, but that's neither here nor there. It's typical editing. I accomplished that in addition to yesterday, the new podcast released, did a little promotion for that, posted some shorts all over the place, and got that done. Stats-wise, normal. A little up, I think. We're a little over 11,000 per day average over the last 7 days. We had a greater than 50 day yesterday, so our average of about 50 subscribers a day is still on par. We didn't hit a new milestone, but we're only about 30 shy of the next milestone. So I'm sure we'll hit that during the day today. And so if today we're at the late 40,700s, by Monday we might be up to 40,009 or so. I know, don't make predictions, but it's kind of how it looks on the average. With that in mind, then let's talk about today. Today is an editing day. I like these days a lot because I have trouble getting started, like standing up and shooting stuff in the morning. But if I've shot everything the day before, as I've done here, I can come in and as soon as I get the vlog out, I just keep editing. Like I edit the vlog, publish that, and keep on editing. I just keep going, and I can usually be pretty productive. I can probably knock out the vast majority of it even before lunch, even. And now I mentioned in the midst of doing this, I'm going to come across B-roll. Like in the video, I talk about blah, 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 something over at Atari Age. I'm going to go to Atari Age. I'm going to do a screen capture. So there's some B-roll. So here's an aside. For me, one of the most egregious things that I think people do on YouTube is think that them talking is sufficient. And here's me, look, that's all I do here on the vlog. This is different. But for like entertainment videos, even if you're the most attractive dude on the planet, if you're talking about a thing, show me the thing. Like I learned that in television when I worked there. If you talk about a building downtown, show a picture of that building downtown. If you're talking about, ants crawling around the kitchen, show pictures of the ants crawling around the kitchen. Whatever it is you're talking about, if at all possible, show an image of it, because what it does is it does a few things. First, it reinforces your point. So someone who is listening or watching passively, they have a reinforcing technique. Like they hear your voice and they see the thing, and it's like, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about. It keeps them engaged. It also informs. So maybe you mention something, mention the blah, blah, blah. If the viewer's never heard of that, that's now a gap in the narrative for them. They don't know what you're talking about. But if you mention the blah, 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 and you show a picture of the blah, 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 they're like, oh, that thing. Even if I've never seen it before, now I know it exists. If you mention Snuffleupagus, show Snuffleupagus. Show him, even though not everybody knows who Snuffleupagus is. Show who it is or what it is you're talking about when you talk about it as much as possible. Now, you don't make a slideshow. This isn't a TED Talk. So as normal for me when I'm editing, I'll go through, and usually, I'm jumping, my brain is going faster than my mouth. As I'm editing, as I'm watching, if I'm on camera for more than like 30 seconds, I'm like, where can I break this up and show something interesting? Something, in the last video, I said, sometimes cheap means junk. And I flew out a picture of cartridges at the Alamogordo dump, to show games are junk kind of thing. This, not exactly comparable, but you get the idea. Show something. So in the midst of my editing, even though everything I said, I shot all my B-roll, all that, all the B-roll I know of is shot. So in the midst of it, I'm sure I will, let me go grab a little 30 seconds of this game and show that. Let me go grab, whatever. That's going to happen throughout the day. But that's minor compared to like full B-roll or full, A-roll, the recording of the thing or the stand-up. So an aside in video production, maybe you like those. I don't know. It's how my brain is working. So in the midst of the day, I will finish that video. I think I can get it done by early afternoon. And if I do, and get all the publishing stuff done to have it released on Saturday, I might do an early release of it to members again, because that worked really well. However, once I get it done and get all the publishing tasks done this afternoon, I hope to work a bit on the December Advent calendar series that I have the groundwork laid for. I have a lot of things I know I want to do with it. So what's going to take is me to get one piece of it in the can, get that assembled, and then it's going to be smooth sailing. But like I've only got about 2 weeks before that starts, December 1st. So I got to get my planning stages done. Am I going to talk or am I going to fish? If you know that joke, that's funny. If you don't, look it up. Yeah, and that's my today. And then finally, as I mentioned, tomorrow I'm driving down to Lakeland, Florida to the 2023 Free Play Florida, which is a huge arcade and retro gaming event. You pay a single price, and then all weekend, actually, I'm just going all day Saturday, but all weekend you can roam around and play all these games and pinball machines and arcade machines and consoles, and there's vendors and there's vintage stuff and to tempt me. It's all the crap I love. So I'm headed down there on Saturday. If you are in the South Florida area, pop in and see me. I'll be all day, probably from noon to 5 or so ish. I would expect I'll be at Free Play Florida in Lakeland, and not as a guest or anything. I'm just going myself and wandering around and goofing off. So if you see me, stop me and say, "Hey, I know you, nerd," and we could chat. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this for a while. It's always a highlight. It's like a little tiny taste of SFGE or one of those other conventions in a one-day adventure, just to kind of get refreshed and rejuvenated. So I'm doing that on Saturday, tomorrow. Okay, got the Friday lined up, got the weekend lined up. I'll be posting some shorts throughout the weekend and stuff like that, of course. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get after it. So thank you for stopping by for today's vlog. If you did, if you didn't, I don't know how you got here. If you're here every day, I love you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much for being a regular part of my ritual, my morning, keeping me motivated. Please have a fantastic Friday and a superlative Saturday and Sunday. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again on Monday. Bye-bye.